They're murdering us from the sky. It's time to stop the madness and end this evil crime of murdering us from the sky. If we don't, we'll die.
Hey, welcome back to The Truth Denied. The song is called Murdering Us from the Sky. The artist is Jeff Saxon, and the album is Truth Teller. If you want to find out more about it, Jeff Saxon is an independent film and music festival winner, and of course you can guess that Murdering Us from the Sky is his version of chemtrails. You can contact Jeff through our website at thetruthdenide.com, front page, homepage. There's a nice video there, and you can finish listening to the song. So we want to thank Jeff for his contributions to the Truth Tonight Talk Radio. He'll be on, his songs will be on his bumper music from here out. And now we're back to speaking with Bobby Powell. And, during the break, Bobby and I were talking about, the NDAA as well. He mentioned, you mentioned, I should say, Bobby, something about the NDAA. And I also did promise to take a couple of calls. So, Bobby, if you don't mind, can we...
No, go right ahead.
Is that okay? Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So let's see. Catherine from Virginia, welcome to the Truth Tonight Talk Radio. And did you have a question for our guest, Bobby Powell?
Oh, yeah. I was going to turn this off because I just can't stand to hear this kind of thing. And I really do believe the powers that be are totally controlled by demonic forces. They might, say that they believe this stuff, but what person in their mind would believe in a God, a murdering God? I mean, it's just a lot of, excuse my French, crap to justify murdering people. And what it is, it's just that Agenda 21 stuff. They want to kill off humanity and, have their little pets in their underground bases, which, those underground bases, when the pole shifts and the different earth changes come, they're going to be crushed in those underground bases. So, I mean, it's just, the whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, these religions were reptilian and Draco created. And, it's just, the whole thing is just a lot of bunk. I don't think anybody should even devote any time or thought to it. Basically, they want to murder people. Bottom line. They're the same group that did the Holocaust, in World War II. The exact same people, okay? They funded the communists. They funded the Zionists. They funded the Nazis. The agenda is to kill off people, to, keep people in fear, to entrench the ruling elite, because they live off humanity. And, if people wake up, they lose their food source.
Bobby, what do you have to say about that?
Well, she had a couple of interesting points about religion being reptilian in nature, because I personally believe that there are other alien civilizations that are currently visiting.
Sure, me too.
The world, and the religions go back a long time. The epic.
And Alex Collier says that these reptilians, they set up the religions, then they cause a cataclysm, destroy the priesthoods, and then nobody knows where they came from. So they're setting up these religions. There might be some truth to these religions, but, you have a brain in your head. If some religion is telling you, sacrifice your child, you don't go with that religion. If some religion is telling you, kill people, and I mean the whole idea, the Semitic are the Palestinians. The most Jews are Ashkenazi Jews who were, in the Scythians and the oh God, what were they? But Arthur Kessler says that, and a bunch of other people say that they simply converted to Judaism. They are not the same race, and even if they were the same race, does that mean we give America back to the Indians? I mean, this is just a convoluted scheme to justify murder.
Oh, that was a whole lot. I don't know what to start with first.
I mean, why would anyone even entertain these ideas? Roxy, you have such good shows, and maybe they believe this stuff, but who cares? I mean, it's like it's like you're going down this path, and this path is just genocide.
Okay.
It's the same thing like the Nazis went and...
Hold on a second. Can you hold on a second, Catherine?
Hmm?
First of all, number one, I'm not sure what you're addressing when you say, Roxy, you have such shows, and then you don't say the rest of your sentence, so I don't know what you're saying.
This is the Nazis went into Tibet.
Catherine, I'm going to have to mute you. I gave you a chance to say your spiel, and I'm asking you a question now. So if you can hang in there and let me finish my statement, that'd be great. Number one, you're talking everybody. It seems to be on the tip of everybody's tongue who's in the activist world or whatever. And I want to clarify something. And talking about genocide of the world, and that they've always been doing it. They've been killing off the planet, and they're killing off all of us, and they killed off 90%. This and that. In 1500, there were 450 million people on the planet. In 1900, there were 1.6 billion people on the planet. In 1980, there were 4.5 billion on the planet. In 2012, there's 7 billion people on the planet. I don't think so.
I don't know,
the
but
planet is growing and growing and growing, and I can go backwards to the year one. So what I'm saying is, like, there is a separation of fallacy. There is religious dogma. There are and who created it, whether it be reptilian or not. I just have to put my 2 cents in, and I'll let Bobby finish this off. But I'm saying that there is smoke.
We don't know that those numbers are accurate. We don't know that those numbers are accurate.
All right. Hey, you know what, Catherine? Thanks for the call, and let's see what Bobby has to say. So, Bobby, what's up?
Well, as I said, I believe that there are other alien civilizations. According to the Drake equation, there should be 50,000 intelligent civilizations in our galaxy alone. Mm-hmm. And there are millions and millions of galaxies. Mm-hmm. So, with maybe the Bible is a story about the clash of these different civilizations over the planet Earth.
Could be.
And, I wouldn't put that thought aside too far, because, in the book of Enoch, it reads just like an alien abduction. And the book of Enoch was part of the Catholic Bible for a couple of hundred years until they got rid of it. Mm-hmm. So at one point, the Christian church believed that we were being visited by aliens. And that was part of their dogma. But for some reason, they got rid of it. So, don't ask me to explain it, because I can't.
Right.
Because, how can you say at one point this thing is true, and then the next day, oh, well, we don't believe that anymore. We believed it for 200 years.
Right.
That just doesn't fly with me.
For sure. So, and I can see that too. That's why I really enjoy also geologists and people who go back, historians, and sort of uncover. One of my favorite shows right now is Ancient Aliens. I really like what they're, sort of revealing that,
Giorgio's a trip, isn't he?
He is totally a trip. I love him. But, back to, like I say, you can tell the people anything you want. I mean, relative data and census reports, I just gave them, and, then our listeners are going to say, well, how do I know that these are true? Well, I don't know. How do you know what you're saying is true? And that's the bottom line. How do I know anything is true? Which is what we talk about on Tribe TV as well. There is something called intuition and discernment. So when you have intuition and you have discernment, and I think that the people of this planet should get empowered with discernment, should educate themselves in discernment, and start using their intellectual properties that they were, supposed God-given gifts, whatever you want to call it. I don't like to use too many words, God, universe, whatever people want to call it. It's none of my business. You use your intuition, and you don't have to question a whole lot. You don't have to weigh out too much. You can discern. That's what the word discernment is. But anyway, when we were talking about the NDAA on the break, you were bringing up some of the new. Did you say executive orders? Some recent executive orders to the NDAA?
Right. Actually, this executive order, the most recent one that was signed into law by President Obama, is Executive Order 1360. Now, if you go, I'll put up a link to this document. It's in the official government archives. I'll put up a link to this document on my blog as soon as we get off the air at bobpowell.blogspot.com. Now, it's a PDF, and what you do is you scroll down to section 502. That's subheaded Consultants, buried deep inside this executive order. Allow me to quote what it says. The head of each agency, otherwise delegated functions under this order, is delegated the authority of the President under Section 710B and C of the Act to employ persons of outstanding experience and ability without compensation, and to employ experts, consultants, or organizations. The authority delegated by this section may not be redelegated. Now, think about that phrase for a moment, will you please? They have the authority to employ persons of outstanding experience and ability without compensation. Can you think of a definition for that phrase, Roxy?
Say it again. Say the phrase. It sounds like slavery.
That's exactly what it is. To employ persons without compensation is slavery. Congratulations, America. The Civil War was fought for nothing, and the first black man elected as President of the United States is also the first slave master since the end of that destructive war.
Now, when was this signed, this executive order? When was that added to this National Defense Act?
It was signed on March 12th of 2012. Okay,
so that was added. And can you also address, because I know that you take a good look at that, the NDAA to begin with, what do you think the reason behind that move was? What was the reason?
Because this war that they're engineering in the Middle East, the Gog-Magog war, yes, whether you believe in Christian dogma or not, it is happening. There is going to be a war in Syria. When Bashar al-Assad is in danger of falling, Iran will come to his aid, and they will attack Israel. And that is going to cause Israel to go ballistic, because when the Jews say never again, honey baby, they mean it. They've got up to 600 undeclared nuclear weapons, and they will use them. Syria is the largest holder of biological and chemical weapons on the face of the planet outside of the United States and Russia. And if they launch, and they've got the Scuds to do it, if they launch those missiles at Israel, or if they turn Hamas and Hezbollah loose to launch missiles from Lebanon and Gaza into Israel, I guarantee you the Israelis are going to retaliate, and there is going to be a full-scale war in the Middle East. It's not going to be just like the Six-Day War. It is going to be a conflagration that's going to take over the entire Middle East. You can forget about oil flowing through the Strait of Hormuz. That's 20% of the world's oil right there. And prices are going to go skyrocketing.
You know, that's interesting that you're saying that too, Bob, because I've been getting reports from other reporters, giving me a heads up about how much, and maybe you can explain this if you know anything about it, because I haven't had an opportunity to look into it, but they are definitely, our military is definitely buying up ammunition like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk about that? Something to the tune of just last week, something about 1 billion rounds of this and that. And like I said, I haven't had time as a journalist myself to look into the source of that. But have you also been seeing that action going on?
Absolutely. The Department of Homeland Security has bought, like you said, like 1.4 billion rounds of ammunition. Roxy,
Last week.
The Social Security Administration had just bought millions of rounds of ammunition. Who in the world does the Social Security Administration need to shoot?
Maybe to fend themselves off when they tell them the doors of Social Security are closed and no one else is getting any more checks?
That could be, because as
and that the Social Security system is a Ponzi scheme?
That and the fact that there's going to be an economic collapse in this country that will make the Great Depression look like a cakewalk.
Now that I can verify over and over again. That'll probably be a show that I'll have with certain people who run huge bank systems in this country and investment firms. They're actually verifying that type of collapse. So that we're just on the edge of that collapse as well. Everything has been inflated purposely for the election. If this wasn't an election year, we'd go down as hard as a rock right now. The world, we take the world and slide with it as we did in 2008. It's quite interesting.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that this is relative. You definitely have a background in all this. So, I guess my question would be at this point, with these executive orders and the unstoppable you and I have a difference of opinion on something, and that's okay. My opinion, and then give your opinion, we're going to take a really short break. And when we come back, let's talk about what we think is happening on the planet and what people can do about it. Because you've got your opinion, I've got mine. And so when we come back from the break, let's have it out. Okay, Bob?
Outstanding. I'll spar with you anytime.
There you go. We'll be right back.